Gothmog versus Sauron. Morgoth's stronghold of Angband was run by two high captains during its reign, Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs, and Sauron the Abhorred, who were its primary leaders before the destruction of Utumno. These two forces of darkness served as the original Dark Lord's highest-ranking lieutenants throughout the First Age, conducting much of the field operations whilst he remained in the north. Through them, Angband and other locations became dreaded, evil bases of operations throughout the Wars of Beleriand. Their names strike terror in the minds of the free peoples of Arda. But what if they were pitted against one another? Hello, and welcome back to another video from Secrets of the Rings, where we celebrate and delve deep into all things Tolkien. Join us today as we explore the possible outcomes of battle between Gothmog and Sauron. Who is more powerful? What powers do they possess? Under what circumstances would they ever combat each other? As always, if you enjoy our videos, please like and subscribe for more content, and let us know what you would like to see more of. Gothmog was originally a Maia, as all Balrogs were before Morgoth's corruption, and is responsible for many terrible deeds against the Noldor. He was Lord of the Balrogs and one of the first encountered when Fëanor's company arrived in Middle-earth in Year of the Trees 1497. In the Dagor-nuin-Giliath, the battle under the stars, Gothmog mortally wounded Fëanor, who was among the mightiest elves to have ever lived, and the catalyst for the Noldor's return to Middle-earth. He served as a general in other conflicts such as the Dagor-nuin-Giliath in First Age 60, and the Dagor-Bragolach in 455. He played a major part in the Nirnaeth Arnoediad in 472, where he led the forces of Angband and engaged with Fingon, the High King of the Noldor, in combat. They would battle until a fellow Balrog restrained Fingon with its fiery whip, and Gothmog's black axe came down on his head, ending his life. In that same battle, Gothmog captures the mighty Húrin, father of Túrin Turambar. Fëanor and Fingon were not the only two legendary elves to fall to Gothmog. In First Age 550, Gothmog led an attack on the city of Gondolin that had until then remained hidden from Morgoth and his forces. During this epic conflict, Gothmog squared off with Ecthelion, the Lord of the House of the Fountain, both meeting their doom as they clashed and fell into the water. Of all the servants of Morgoth, none were as feared as Sauron the Abhorred, the one other villain to serve as High Captain of Angband. Also being a Maia, Sauron could have had a different fate if it wasn't for the cunning of Melkor. But alas, he himself would become the greatest deceiver of all beings in Arda. Known as Mairon, he would not leave Valinor and openly declare allegiance to Melkor until the strongholds were created in Middle-earth. With shape-shifting and sorcery abilities, Sauron became the greatest foe of the children of Ilúvatar after Melkor, often taking the form of a werewolf or vampire. One of Sauron's major actions of the First Age was the conquering of Tol Sirion, thereafter renaming it Tol-in-Gaurhoth, or the Isles of Werewolves. In that time, he took control of the first Minas Tirith as well, serving as a watchtower for Morgoth. It is at Tol-in-Gaurhoth that he would imprison and eventually slay the company of Beren in the quest for the Silmaril, including Finrod Felagund, a much-revered elven king and diplomat. Sauron's fate was intertwined with Beren's, as he had killed his father, thanks to the deceiving of Gorlim, and for years they sought each other's demise as powerful opposing forces. Tol-in-Gaurhoth was, in the end, yielded to and destroyed by the mighty Luthien Tinuviel after battling with Sauron's werewolf form. Sauron was much more inactive after this defeat by Luthien, and remained largely uninvolved in the rest of the First Age conflicts. He would rise to even greater power in the coming ages after the defeat of Morgoth in the War of Wrath in First Age 445 to 587. But for this video, we will focus on Sauron in his form at this time in the Legendarium. Gothmog, as the Lord of the Balrogs, possessed a range of formidable powers and abilities. An ancient and malevolent entity, he was imbued with incredible strength and physical prowess. His combat skills were unparalleled, making him a fearsome warrior on the battlefield. Armed with a blazing whip and a menacing black axe, he could inflict devastating damage upon his enemies. Moreover, Gothmog commanded mastery over fire and shadow, capable of summoning and manipulating flames with destructive force. His mere presence evoked terror, and his dark aura instilled fear in all who faced him. Additionally, being a Balrog, he exhibited remarkable resilience, rendering him a formidable opponent that was difficult to overcome. In summary, Gothmog's powers and abilities established him as an embodiment of darkness and might. Sauron, even without the One Ring, possessed a range of powers and abilities that made him a frightening force. In the First Age, Sauron was known as Mairon, a Maia of Aule. He was highly skilled in craftsmanship, having a deep understanding of forging and enchantment. He utilized his craftsmanship to create objects of great beauty and practicality. Additionally, Sauron was a master of manipulation and deceit, capable of shaping events to his advantage. He possessed a charismatic and persuasive demeanor, allowing him to influence and sway others to his will. In the First Age, he played a significant role in deceiving and corrupting the Noldor, sowing discord among them. Sauron's inherent power as a Maia granted him immortality, endurance, and the ability to assume various forms. He could change his physical appearance, deceiving others with his disguises and appearing in different guises throughout history. Moreover, Sauron had a deep understanding of dark magic and sorcery. He was skilled in enchantments, dark rituals, and the creation of powerful artifacts. While he had not yet forged the One Ring during the First Age, he still possessed considerable knowledge of magic and used it to further his sinister plans. Overall, Sauron's powers and abilities in the First Age showcased his cunning, skill in manipulation, proficiency in craftsmanship, and expertise in dark magic, establishing him as a formidable antagonist, even without the influence of the One Ring. In a one-on-one combat scenario between Sauron and Gothmog, it is difficult to definitively determine the outcome due to the limited information available in Tolkien's works. However, we can make some educated speculations based on their established abilities. A likely clash between the two figures might be established in a competition for Morgoth's preference to be next in line, as they both occupy the same or similar rank in his judgment. Perhaps they might even disagree on a military strategy and challenge each other to single combat, meeting in the plains of the Anfauglith, the land of gasping dust. Gothmog, with his black axe and flaming whip, stands before Sauron in one of his several forms, fair or beastly. Sauron, despite being a skilled sorcerer and having a formidable presence, is not primarily known for his prowess in physical combat. His strengths lie more in manipulation, strategy, and dark magic. While he is capable of taking on different forms and has some combat experience, his focus is often on his cunning and influence rather than direct physical confrontation. On the other hand, Gothmog, being a Balrog, is described as a mighty warrior with exceptional combat skills. Balrogs are fearsome beings of immense power and ferocity, known for their mastery of fire and shadow. They possess great physical strength, endurance, and wield deadly weapons like whips and axes. Considering these factors, it is possible that Gothmog, with his combat-oriented nature and expertise, may have had an advantage in a direct physical confrontation. However, it is important to remember that Sauron is also an ancient and powerful being, with various abilities and resources at his disposal, including his skill in magic and his ability to manipulate others. Ultimately, the outcome of a one-on-one battle between Sauron and Gothmog would depend on numerous factors, including their specific circumstances, the strategies they employ, and the narrative context within Tolkien's mythology. What do you think? Could Sauron have contested Gothmog in the peak of his destruction? Does Gothmog have the skills to defend against a foe like Sauron in single combat? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Thanks again for joining us in another exploration of Tolkien's Legendarium, and stay tuned for more fascinating videos, including the continuation of this series between Morgoth's mightiest servants. Be sure to like and subscribe and give us a follow on Instagram @Tolkien Worldwide. Until next time, Namarie.